Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a husband, a father, and a full-time employee that just really enjoys playing video games. I've been gaming for about 25 years now, and thanks to some YouTubers like Mystic, Nick AR, and Study, I thought it would be a cool idea to keep a digital record of my own trophy hunting journey. While I've played video games most of my life, after maxing an Iron Man in old school RuneScape, I was getting kind of bored and I wanted to try something a little bit different. So back in 2023, I bought my PS5 and got my first Platinum in Astro's Playroom. Since then, I've been rather inconsistently hooked to Platinum trophy hunting. In today's intro video, I want to go through that collection of just whatever 2 years looks like. While there are some games I'm definitely proud to have in my collection, there are a few that were just more for the quick Platinum. The hopes for this channel are to continue increasing my Platinum collection, while also adding some longer and possibly harder games, while getting to keep the digital recording of it. So without further ado, let's dive into it. As of today's recording on January 2nd, 2026, I am trophy level 322, almost to 323. I have a total of 2,211 trophies, 52 of which are platinums. I have 328 gold, 526 silver, and 1,305 bronze. So starting with the Astro's Playroom, back in November, I believe, November 29th of 2023 is when I received my first platinum. Everybody knows a little bit about Astro's Playroom. Fantastic game. Really let me relive the nostalgia of the PS1 era, and I really enjoyed it as a platformer. Very quick, and it was easy to get hooked to the platinum. Okay, moving on from there, I've got two games that I thought I really wanted to play in Platinum, but I didn't get too far with it. God of War 3 Remastered, I believe I only killed Poseidon, only got that one trophy. And then for Modern Warfare 2, I was more focused on just playing the multiplayer. Continuing up the list, we've got Bugsnax, which I believe is a fantastic game. At some point, I'm going to go back and play the PS4 version of it as well. And then we get into some of the quicker games that I mentioned, like Unpacking. I ended up following a guide for this one and knocking it out within the next hour or two, I believe. Abzu was the first game that I realized I messed up on the platinum side, realizing it did not have a platinum. And noticing that I didn't scroll up yet, we're going to get to the first game that I'm not necessarily the most proud of, but it was a quick platinum. And that's My Little Pony's Maritime Bay Adventure. Can't remember a single thing about this game. All I know is it took about 2 hours to get the platinum. So then continuing on, we've got SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is a game I remember from my childhood getting to play, so it was definitely fun for the nostalgia getting to go back and sit and play through that again. I've always been a Ratchet and Clank fan, so getting to play the new Rift Apart, this is definitely a great platinum. I saw this on videos across the internet from Mystic and all the other YouTubers saying how it's an easy platinum, and I definitely enjoyed it. Wheel of Fortune is my second one where I realized that it doesn't have a platinum. So I believe those are the only two on my account that are not possible to platinum. I would like to eventually go back and finish it for the completion, though, to have the 100%. Moving on, I have A Hat in Time. Just a little 3D platformer. Fun game. I don't remember it being too difficult, but it did take a little bit of time to get everything completed. Everybody knows My Name is Mayo. At this point, back in 2024, on actually Valentine's Day of 2024, I didn't really know what shovelware was at the time. I had heard of My Name is Mayo. I saw that it was $2, and I was really searching for that easy platinum, and it is definitely one for the account. You will see a little bit later that I do have number 2 as well, and I'm actually, just for the fun of it, waiting for my 100th platinum to then do My Name is Mayo 3. Next we have Detroit Become Human. I really enjoyed this game. I had played it previously, and I thought I wanted to go back thinking it would be a cool platinum to have, but realizing it was going to be a lot of multiple playthroughs and different story endings, I didn't know if it was going to be one that I wanted to ruin my experience of the game by having to follow a guide. Metal Hellslinger is kind of like a Guitar Hero-esque rhythm game that you are fighting through hell, fighting demons. It's not an easy platinum if you don't have on the in sync mode, but if you turn that on, it makes it a lot better. Ice Age, Scrat's Nutty Adventure was my first experience with a glitched game. I had played through it, and I was a trophy or two away, and my whole game crashed. I lost all my save data, and I had to go back and play all of it. Pinball Heroes, not too much to talk about. You just play pinball on multiple different machines. Makes it a lot easier with the replay that you were able to do to go back if you were to lose a ball, and you could really help get your high scores back up. Next is My Name is Mayo 2, still in this very quick gaming, wanting the really fast platinums just to add to the collection. Next I had Gigantosaurus. This game was awful. I don't remember too much about it, just the fact that the camera never worked. I had a friend play it, and I think he was kidding, thought it would be fun for me to platinum it, and I do regret it. Next is What Remains of Edith Finch. Everybody knows about this game. Quirky little short story. Definitely an interesting game and an easy platinum. Celeste, hands down one of the best platformers I've ever played. I used to have it for my Nintendo Switch, and I absolutely loved the game. While going for the platinum on PS4, I realized it was going to be a lot more difficult than I had remembered, but then I found out that you are able to put on a no death, so it did make it a little bit easier. It took away some of the magic of the game, but nonetheless, another platinum for me. Spider-Man Miles Morales, my first Spider-Man game. I've never been a huge Marvel fan, even though my wife absolutely loves Marvel. Miles Morales was fantastic. I've never been a big fan of having to play through a game multiple times, but this one, it felt effortless. It was a quick story, very, very well written. Voice acting was very good, and just overall fantastic story. Lego Movie. I've always been a fan of the Lego games as a kid, so you'll see a few of these on the list. Nothing super memorable about each of them, just the grind at the very end of the game to finish off those last few trophies. Far Cry 3 and Fallout 4. Games that I enjoyed playing growing up, just could not get back into it. At some point I will go back and play through them, but I was not ready to sit down and dive into restarting the whole games. Here's another game from one of Mystics or Studies videos, I believe, from YouTube. Cat Quest, quirky little fun game. Not too long of a platinum. I think it took about 6 hours to get it done. So that one was a good time. You'll see the later ones on the list a little bit further up. Now we're getting into South Park: Stick of Truth. I've never been a big fan of the turn-based combat, but being a fan of South Park, I really did enjoy it. The humor made it fresh. I believe the only thing I had to look up a guide for this one was the locations of all the Chin Pokemon. I believe there was one, if you missed it, you were not able to go back and get it. And I got this one, this platinum, back in June of 2024. And then we have another one that was just a quick platinum, couple hours. Again, very uninspired game for myself and not very memorable. Crash Bandicoot is one that I started, and it became my first game that was going to be a little bit too hard. I didn't want to put the time into it. I was getting frustrated, but definitely one that I will get back to as well. Ghost of Tsushima and Elden Ring. Ghost of Tsushima, I know it's got such a good story. I want to sit and play through it, but with working and being a dad and everything, I didn't want to dive too much time into it at this current state, but I do know it's one that I want to go back in and play. Elden Ring is my first experience to a Souls game, and I gotta say, to start, wasn't my thing. I was getting frustrated, it was too tricky, and I just didn't have the time or the inspiration or desire to sit down and to get through it. But definitely one, I've got a lot of friends that say how good it is, and I've seen the reviews, I've seen the gameplay, and it does look very rewarding as soon as you get it. So I do think I want to go back and play this one, but that's where I've gotten with that one so far. Next we have Untitled Goose Game. Everybody knows what this one is. It's fun. Speedrun got a little bit tricky on a couple of the levels, but overall pretty quick platinum. And then we get into Borderlands. Borderlands is one of my absolute favorite series of video game franchises. You'll see a lot more on the list moving forward. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, while it wasn't the best received by the community, I absolutely loved it. Tiny Tina was my favorite character in the previous games, and having some of the references from the previous games, like blowing up the ocean by Torg and everything, it was a fun game for me. I really enjoyed it. Terraria, I had a friend convince me that Terraria was just as fun as Minecraft, and I'm sorry to the Terraria lovers. I do not feel the same currently. I'm not saying it can't be, and I didn't get far enough into it, but I didn't get very far, and then, of course, I jumped to Minecraft. So I got the platinum for Minecraft back in July of 2024. Game I've spent probably thousands of hours on in total across different platforms. I've always enjoyed Minecraft. Next we have Borderlands 3, great game. Invector is a rhythm-esque game to all Avicii songs. I've always been a fan of the Guitar Heroes and rock bands and all that, so this one was fun. It's got a couple tricky trophies that make it hard to get the platinum, but overall it's been a fun game. It was one that was on the PS Plus subscription, but they had taken it off, so I was not able to finish it up yet. Spirit of the North Enhanced Edition is a game that you are a fox, and it is a very, very pretty game. Story is a little bit hard to remember. It didn't really sync with me, but a lot of the landscapes and all of the different scenery and everything was a very pretty game. I do remember having to look up a guide to help find all of the shaman spirits. They were tricky to find, so I did have to look up a guide for that. And then we get back into the PS1 era, my childhood, growing up playing the Spyro trilogy. Spyro is just a fun game. It's a fun platformer. Finding all the gems can be a little bit of a pain, but overall, a very, very good game. Okay, moving right along here. I want to start going through these a little bit quicker. I don't want to make this video too long. So next we have the next Borderlands. The first Borderlands, absolutely loved it. God of War, and I'm going to get some people that are going to comment saying the fact I'm only 50% done, it's such a great game, and I know it is. My first time playing through it, I just really wanted to get the story, and knowing that with it being a good game, I'm going to want to go back and play it again. So I do think I'm going to get the platinum on my second time that I go through this game. Garden Between, quick little puzzle game. Saw it on one of another YouTuber's videos. Thought it'd be a quick and easy platinum and kind of an enjoyable game. Marvel Spider-Man, not much to say about this one. Same with Miles Morales. Fantastic game, really enjoyed it. MX vs. ATV Legends, only got a couple trophies in and didn't feel like it. Just wasn't what I remember from being a kid and playing those types of games. Same thing with Medieval. I started it and just really lost the desire to play it. Moving along, I've got Cat Quest 2, same as Cat Quest 1, about a 6-hour platinum. And then we get into one of my favorite games of all time, It Takes Two. Fantastic game. I've played through it 5 or 6 different times, getting to play as each of the characters. I've really, really enjoyed it. I believe it won Game of the Year a few years ago. Fantastic game if you've not played it. Bluey the video game. My daughter absolutely loves Bluey, so I got to sit and play this, and she held a controller and walked around with me, and we had a good time platinuming this one. She enjoyed it so much, along with myself, that you also see the PS4 version just a little bit higher. Phasmophobia, not a game that I ever really expected to platinum. This is more one that I just had a lot of hours on Steam, on the PC, but I just enjoy playing this one on the weekends with some friends. Then we get into Split Fiction. This game was made by the same creators as It Takes Two. This one was a lot more fun in terms of gameplay. I thought the story wasn't quite as deep as It Takes Two, which makes me enjoy the story of It Takes Two better. But the overall gameplay and the challenge of Split Fiction made this one a lot of fun. Sackboy Big Adventure, just a couple trophies left for getting some of the additional outfits, as well as the speed run at the end. Astrobot, absolutely loved it. Nostalgia from all the different characters and all the different bots that you find. And that led me into wanting a little bit more nostalgia, so then I've played through Ape Escape from the PS1. The next 2 games are Burly Man at Sea and Concrete Genie. These were shorter platinums. Concrete Genie was a lot of fun. It was a great story. I got that from, actually both of these, from a 30 Platinums in 30 Day challenge, I believe, by Mystic. Burly Men at Sea was a very slow and boring story-based game that you just have to click different options throughout the story and replaying the same story over and over. So kind of not very memorable to me. Next two are more Borderlands. Pre-sequel, I don't have much done on the PS5 because I've just played it so many times and I just didn't feel like playing through it again. Borderlands 2, I'm almost done with the Platinum. It's only at 51% shown for the whole game just because of the amount of DLCs that it had. Helldivers 2, never really got into it. Had a friend that played one evening with me and we just kind of fell off from there. Next few, High on Life. Enjoyed the game, created as Rick and Morty. Funny, got a little bit repetitive towards the end, but not too bad on the Platinum side. Plucky Squire. I remember this game being very, very quirky. It was a very different kind of concept than I've ever played, where you are this little squire that is on it's a character of a book, and you're on a 2D plane, and you can jump out of the book to then have to do puzzles and everything in the 3D plane. So very interesting. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Everybody loves Sly Cooper. Oddballers and yet another zombie defense. Oddballers is currently glitched. I'm not able to unlock any more trophies, so that one's kind of stuck at the 39%. Yet another zombie defense. I haven't gotten back to it. I saw from other YouTube videos that this would be a quick and easy one, and some of them were posing a little bit more difficult, and I just kind of got bored. Next is Jak and Daxter, fun little platformer. Then we get into the Ratchet and Clank for the PS4. I'm on my second playthrough of it on the New Game Plus. Donut County and Garfield's Lasagna Party, just two quick ones. Super Lucky Tale, another fun little platformer. Took about 10 hours, I believe. It's got some puzzles, and it's one that I played growing up on the Xbox 360, I believe. And I just had some fond memories of it, so I went back through and played that one. There is Bluey for the PS4, also platinum. I believe that's the only game that I have done two platinums of the same game. Borderlands 4 is hands down my least favorite Borderlands. It was just a different style. The story I didn't really care too much about. I didn't feel any connection to the characters. And the game just felt like it was put together, and then on top of that, the heavy price tag for it just didn't really go well with me. TCG Card Market Simulator. This is the second game that I've played that is actually glitched, showing that there is 0% of the platinum unlocked, and I got stuck after having $15,000 in my account. I probably passed it. Either way, there's one for the 25,000 showing that 0.0% of players have earned it. It is currently glitched and cannot get it. V Rising is an isometric game, just like Diablo. I really feel like I could get into this one. I downloaded it thinking it would hook me right away, and it just hasn't yet. A lot of crafting and having to collect resources, so that makes it a little bit trickier for me to get into. Another Lego game, The Incredibles. You play through the second story and then the first story, and it's the same as every Lego game, just having to get all the collectibles, get all the gold bricks to red bricks, and get to the 100%. Disney Dreamlight Valley is one that my wife and I are actually playing together. More so her. I get to do the grindy stuff for some of the trophies, but she is the one that likes to play the quests and do some of the daily stuff as well. I just remember that the only thing that's going to take this one a long time is we're removing the 3,000 night thorns. After you clean up the whole valley, there are only 10 to 15 of these, I believe, that spawn a day, and we're just over 1,200 removed. So we've got a little bit more time to go on that one. Getting into some more of my recent games, I just finished Power Wash Simulator 2 at the end of this year, 12/21. Played this with a buddy. I really enjoyed the first one, but the first one had some of those tricky speedrun ones, and I just remember those being a pain when I played them on Steam. The last in the series of Cat Quests is Cat Quest 3. Only difference between this one is you get a boat. And it was a lot of fun. Again, a little quirky game that takes about 6 hours or 8 hours, I believe, to get the platinum for this one. And this one I got just on 12/24, right before Christmas. Stray, I've had this game in my backlog for a long time. I've owned the game for a long time. I just don't think I can get into it. The game is absolutely beautiful. The indie developers have done a fantastic job on this game. I just need to find the time to sit down and really get through it. Now on to the last three. Lego Horizon Adventures had so much potential in my opinion. The game was a different style Lego game than I've ever played. I was greeted with a difficulty screen at the beginning. My only complaint is the fact that at the end of the game, one of the trophies is having to level all characters up to the max level, which is 20. And while there's only 4 characters, at the end of the game through the story, your first character isn't even level 20. So it took an additional 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours of grinding just to get the characters up, where I feel like the developers could have done something to fill that in to make it a little bit more fun. But when you spend more time leveling up characters doing the same expeditions over and over, longer than you did spending the time to play the game, that really knocked it down a few in my book. A Way Out, my wife and I actually just finished this on New Year's. This was our New Year's Eve celebration of finishing going through this. We love these games, and I think we're going to start playing the Dark Anthem, or the Dark Anthology series. So we're going to have some fun with that. And then lastly, the last game that I've received a trophy on, and I'm hoping to get the platinum today, again as of January 2nd, 2026, is South Park Snow Day. Really enjoying the Stick of Truth. I never played the Fractured But Whole. Snow Day was not for me. I know it didn't get good reviews, but I sat here and thought, how bad could it be? It's just not near as good. I don't understand why the developers changed the format that they had of the 2D. It worked. It was fun with the combat. The turn-based and everything was good. Where this game just feels like it was rushed. It felt very uninspired from the developers. And just wasn't for me. Sorry if you're out there and you do enjoy the game. It's just not one that I would necessarily recommend. With all that said, thank you for checking out my channel, and I really hope you enjoyed going over my Platinum collection. For future videos, I plan to start working on some individual games and other trophy-related content. If there are any games that you would suggest or think I should Platinum, let me know in the comments. And also feel free to let me know your favorite Platinum. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you again next time.